The Perfect Wife. Introduction. The first time Adanna Okafor realized she'd been sold, she was standing in Incheon Airport with a suitcase full of lies and a one-way ticket she didn't buy. 24 years old, Nigerian, beautiful in the way that made people forget what they were saying mid-sentence. Her parents told her this was salvation. A marriage arrangement with a wealthy Korean man who'd seen her photo and fallen in love. They said she'd live like royalty, send money home, save her 3 younger sisters from the Lagos slums that had swallowed their childhood whole. They didn't mention the debt. 15 million naira, gambling, loan sharks, the kind of people who don't accept excuses. They didn't mention that her new husband had paid it off, that she wasn't a bride. She was collateral. The man waiting at arrivals didn't look at her like a husband looks at his wife. He looked at her like an investor examining a purchase. Park Jun-woo, 48, member of the National Assembly, 3 years from a presidential run. And he needed to prove he wasn't the xenophobe everyone knew he was. "Welcome to Korea," he said in practiced English. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "We have much work to do." Adanna said nothing. She'd already learned the first rule of survival. Never let them see you planning. Chapter 1. The penthouse in Gangnam was obscene. Marble everything. Floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking a city that glittered like broken glass. Expensive artworks, but it felt like a mausoleum. Cold, beautiful, dead. "You're sweet," Junwoo's assistant said, opening double doors on the 20th floor. Not a room, a suite, king bed, sitting area, bathroom bigger than her family's entire apartment, and a keypad lock on the outside of the door. "For security," the assistant said, catching her stare. "Mr. Park has many enemies." "I'm sure." The assistant's expression didn't change. "Dinner is at 7, formal attire. Mr. Park expects punctuality." "Where's my passport?" "In the safe." "I'd like it back." "When Mr. Park deems it appropriate." The door closed. Adanna heard the keypad beep as it locked. She walked to the window, looked down at the city sprawling below, 20 floors up, no balcony, no escape. She pressed her hand against the glass and felt the walls of her golden cage close in. Dinner was a performance. Junwoo sat at one end of a table, meant for 12, eating galbi with surgical precision, while Adanna picked at food she couldn't taste. "You'll attend the charity gala on Friday," he said without looking up. "Wear the gown my stylist selected. Smile when cameras are present. Speak only if directly addressed." He paused. "And practice saying you're grateful." Convincingly. "Grateful for what?" His eyes lifted. Cold. Sharp. "For the opportunity I've given you. To escape poverty. To live in comfort." He dabbed his mouth with a napkin. "To be married to someone of my stature." "You mean to be owned by someone of your stature." The temperature in the room dropped. Junwoo set down his chopsticks. "Let's be very clear about something, Adanna. Your parents sold you to pay a debt. I bought you to solve a political problem. You are here because I allow it." He leaned back. "But I appreciate spirit in moderation. The press will find it charming. And when they stop finding it charming, then we'll discuss your usefulness." He stood, straightened his jacket. "I have a meeting. Don't wait up." The door locked behind him. Adanna sat in the enormous dining room, alone with 14 empty chairs and the taste of ash in her mouth. Chapter 2. She learned his patterns quickly. Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights, political dinners, home by 11. Tuesday and Thursday nights, gone until dawn. Different perfume every time. Weekends, campaign events, where she stood beside him like a prop, proof of his evolution. But Junwoo was methodical in his cruelty. Every morning at 6, the assistant unlocked her door. She had 30 minutes of freedom before scheduled activities. Breakfast with Junwoo. Korean lessons with a tutor who reported everything she said. Appointments with stylists, photographers, speech coaches, all designed to shape her into the perfect political wife. By 8 p.m., she was locked in again. The penthouse had security cameras everywhere, except the bedrooms and bathrooms. 3 guards rotated shifts. The building required keycard access for every floor. She was trapped, but Adanna had survived Logos, and Logos taught you that every cage had a crack. She just had to find it. 3 weeks in, she found it. Not a physical escape, something better. The assistant's name was Minji, 26, efficient, cold. But Adanna noticed things. The way Minji's hands shook when Junwoo raised his voice. The fading bruise on her wrist she tried to hide with long sleeves. The exhaustion in her eyes that spoke of more than long hours. So Adanna started small. "Thank you for the tea." Minji blinked. "It's my job." "Still, thank you." The next day, "The flowers you arranged are beautiful." Minji's surprise was almost imperceptible. "Mr. Park chose them, but you arranged them. It matters." A week of small kindnesses. And then one morning, Minji lingered after unlocking the door. "Why are you being nice to me?" Adanna looked up from her breakfast. "Because you deserve kindness." "Mr. Park wouldn't like it." "Mr. Park doesn't have to know." Minji hesitated. Then she reached into her pocket and placed a phone on the table. Old, basic, untraceable. "It's not connected to the building's network. 30 minutes, twice a week. I'll tell you when." She met Adanna's eyes. "Don't make me regret this." Before Adanna could respond, she was gone. Adanna stared at the phone. 30 minutes of freedom. It wasn't much, but it was something. Chapter 3. She used the first call to reach her sisters. The sound of Kiyoma's voice almost broke her. "Ada!" "Oh my God, Ada, where are you?" "Mama said you got married, but you didn't." "I'm okay. I'm in Korea. I'm safe." Lies tasted like copper. "Are you happy?" Adanna closed her eyes. "I'm alive. That's enough." "Mama says you're going to send money soon. For my school fees. For Amara's medicine." "Of course she did. I'll try, Chi. I promise." "When can you visit?" "I don't know. Soon." More lies. They talked for 28 minutes. About home, about their sisters, about everything except the truth. When the call ended, Adanna sat in the darkness of her locked room and felt the weight of it all. She couldn't stay here. But she couldn't leave without money, and Junwoo made sure she had nothing. No bank account, no cash, no access. She was utterly dependent. Unless... The thought formed slowly. Dangerous, insane, but possible. She spent the second call researching. Expat forums, job boards, threads about working illegally in Seoul. And then she found it, a post from 3 months ago. Looking for strippers, upscale clientele, no experience necessary, discreet, cash pay. The club was called Eclipse, Gangnam, high-end, the kind of place where Korea's elite went to pretend they weren't married. Adanna stared at the address. This was insane. If Junwoo found out, but he wouldn't, because he didn't see her as human. He saw her as a thing he owned, and things didn't have secret lives. She sent an email. The response came within an hour. Interview, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Adanna looked at the message, then at the locked door. She'd need Minji's help, and Minji had already risked enough. But when she asked the next morning, Minji didn't hesitate. Wednesday is Mr. Park's donor dinner. He won't be home until 2 a.m. She paused. I can get you out, but if you're caught, you knew nothing. I could lose my job. I know, and I'm sorry. Minji studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Don't make me regret this twice. Chapter 4. Eclipse was everything Adanna expected, and nothing she was prepared for. Dark, luxurious, bass so deep it replaced her heartbeat. Women in designer dresses moved through the space like expensive ghosts. Men in suits that cost more than cars watched them with the kind of hunger money enables. This wasn't Lagos. This was something else entirely. The manager was American. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. You're the girl from the email. Yes. Name. Not her real name. Never her real name. Zara. You worked stripper before? In Lagos. Different scene. This isn't Lagos. Here you smile. You pour drinks, dance and immerse men with your beauty. You make powerful men feel charming. She leaned closer. You do not sleep with clients. You do not give out personal information. You do not steal. Break those rules, you're gone. Understood. Understood. Good. You start tonight. Tonight? You have somewhere else to be? Adanna thought of the penthouse, the locked door, Junwoo's cold dismissal. No, the manager smiled. Welcome to Eclipse. She was terrible at first, too stiff, too honest, too unused to playing the game. But she learned fast. Laugh at their jokes, touch their arm lightly, keep eye contacts while moving around the pole, make them feel seen without promising anything. It was a different kind of performance than playing Junwoo's perfect wife. But performance, nonetheless. And the money. God, the money. In 6 hours, she made 4 million won. More than most people earned in a month. She hid it in her bra. Took a taxi back to the building at 1 a.m. Changed in a 24-hour cafe bathroom 2 blocks away. Minji let her in through the service entrance at 1:30. By 2 a.m., she was locked in her room, heart pounding, money burning against her skin. She'd done it. She'd found her crack in the cage. Chapter 5. By the second month, Adanna had a system. Wednesday and Friday nights, Junwoo's predictable absences, Minji's careful coordination. She worked at Eclipse, smiled, poured drinks, made men screamed and gushed over her, collected cash, 30 million won, then 50, then 80. She hid it in a hollowed-out copy of Pachinko, one of the English books Junwoo's decorator had filled the shelves with, never expecting anyone to actually read them. Every bill was a step closer to freedom, to new documents, to getting her sisters out of Nigeria, to disappearing. She just had to stay invisible. But invisibility shattered on a Friday in October. She was pouring whiskey for a group of investment bankers when she felt it. That electric current, when someone isn't just watching you. They're hunting you. She scanned the room. VIP section. Corner booth. A man in black. Early 30s. Dangerous in the way wolves are dangerous. Beautiful until they move. He wasn't like the others. He didn't shout, didn't grab, didn't leer. He just watched her with dark eyes that tracked her every movement like he was memorizing her for later. When her shift ended, the manager appeared. VIP booth. Private request. He's offering 10 million won for 2 hours. Adanna's stomach dropped. 10 million won. That was 3 months' rent. That was plane tickets. That was freedom. But something about that man made her want to run. Who is he? The manager shrugged. Does it matter? It should, but she needed that money. Give me 5 minutes. Chapter 6. The VIP room smelled like expensive whiskey and something darker. Danger, maybe, or inevitability. He was waiting. Up close, he was even more devastating. Sharp jawline, full lips, eyes so dark they looked black in the low light, handsome in a way that felt like a threat. Sit, he said. His Korean was perfect, educated, controlled. I don't sit for free. He smiled, slow, amused. Then he pulled out a stack of bills and placed it on the table. Not 10 million won. 50 million. Adanna's breath caught. What do you want? To talk. People don't pay 50 million won to talk. I'm not most people. He leaned back, studying her. You're Nigerian. Not a question. How did you... Your accent. It slips when you're nervous. He paused. Most people wouldn't notice, but I notice everything. Adanna's pulse spiked. Who are you? Someone who wants to know why Park Junwoo's wife is working as a stripper in a Gangnam club. The world tilted. Run. Scream. Fight. But he raised a hand. Relax. I'm not here to expose you. Then what do you want? He stood, walked toward her with careful, predatory grace. I want to use you. Every instinct screamed at her to leave, but she stayed, because she recognized that tone. Command, expectation, the same tone Junwoo used. Who are you? She whispered. He smiled. My name is Han Ji-ho, and your husband is trying to destroy me. Adanna didn't move. I don't know who you are, and I don't care about your problems with my husband. You should. Ji-ho poured himself a drink. Because when he destroys me, you'll still be locked in that penthouse, still playing the obedient wife. He met her eyes. Still sneaking out to dance for men for money you'll never have enough of to actually escape. Her jaw tightened. You don't know anything about me. I know you've worked here for 7 weeks. I know you hide your money in a book. I know you call your sisters every Sunday. He took a sip. I know Minji helps you sneak out. I know the building service entrance code. I know you sleep in a locked room on the 20th floor. Adanna's blood turned to ice. You've been following me? I've been watching your husband. You were just an interesting variable. He set down his glass. Tell me something. Does Junwoo know you speak Korean? She said nothing. Ji-ho's smile widened. He doesn't. He thinks you're decorative, naive, too new to understand the language. He leaned forward. But you understand everything, don't you? His phone calls, his meetings, his plans. I don't. Don't lie. You're smarter than that. Silence stretched between them. What do you want from me? She finally asked. Information. About? Your husband's task force. The anti-corruption initiative designed to target organized crime. His expression darkened. The one that's really designed to target me, while Junwoo consolidates power with my competitors. You're a criminal. I prefer entrepreneur. But yes, then you deserve whatever he's planning. Ji-ho laughed, real, genuinely amused. You hate him. I barely know him. Liar. He stood, walked to the window. You hate him because he bought you like property, locks you in a room, parades you like a trophy while he fucks his mistresses. He turned. So help me destroy him. Why would I do that? Because I'll pay you more than you'll make here. Because I'll get you real documentation, not forged garbage. Because I'll get your sisters out of Nigeria safely. He paused. And because when Junwoo falls, you'll be free of him. Adanna stared at him, trading one dangerous man for another. How do I know you won't just use me and disappear? You don't. He walked back to her, close enough that she could smell his cologne, cedar and smoke. But here's the difference between me and your husband. He pretends he's saving you. I'm honest about using you. That's supposed to be better? Honesty always is. She hated that he was right. I need time to think. You have 24 hours. He handed her a phone. Small, encrypted. My number's the only one programmed. Call me when you decide. And if I say no, then I disappear, and you go back to rolling your waist until Junwoo figures out what you're doing and buries you so deep no one will ever find you. His eyes were serious, dark. Clock's ticking, Adanna. For both of us. She took the phone. Jiho smiled. Smart girl. And then he was gone, leaving Adanna alone with 50 million won and a choice that felt like stepping into traffic. Chapter 7. She didn't call him immediately. She needed to think, to plan, to figure out if working with a criminal was worse than staying trapped with a monster. But then Junwoo came home early. She was in her room, unlocked, because it was daytime, when he walked in without knocking. We need to talk. Adanna closed her laptop. About what? About boundaries. He sat on the edge of her bed, uninvited. Minji tells me you've been asking questions about my schedule, my meetings. Her heart stopped. Had Minji betrayed her? I'm curious about your work. Is that wrong? Curiosity is fine. Surveillance is not. He stood, walked to her bookshelf, ran his finger along the spines. You're my wife, Adanna, not my equal, not my partner. He pulled out pachinko. Not my confidant. The world narrowed to that book in his hands, to the money hidden inside. If he opened it, this is a beautiful edition, he said, turning it over. Have you read it? Not yet. He handed it to her. You should. It's about people who don't know their place, who think they can escape their circumstances through cleverness. He smiled. Spoiler. They can't. He left. Adanna stood there, book in shaking hands, heart hammering against her ribs. That was a warning. He was watching. She pulled out the encrypted phone, called Jiho. He answered on the first ring. I'm in, she said. Chapter 8. They met in a parking garage 3 blocks from the penthouse. 2 a.m., Jiho's car, tinted windows. Tell me about his security, Jiho said. Cameras everywhere except bedrooms and bathrooms. 3 guards, rotating shifts every 8 hours. Keycard access for every floor. His office? In the penthouse, locked, but he uses his birthday as the code. October 15th, 10:15. Jiho smiled. Predictable. What do you need from me? Access to his computer, his phone, his files. He doesn't leave them unattended. Then you'll need to make him. Adanna looked at him. How? You're his wife. Seduce him. Her stomach turned. I can't. You can. He doesn't want me like that. He has mistresses. Because you haven't given him a reason to want you. Jiho's voice was matter-of-fact, clinical. You're beautiful, Adanna. Use it. I didn't agree to prostitute myself. You agreed to help me destroy him. This is how. He softened slightly. I know it's not easy, but you've survived worse. Had she? What if it doesn't work? Then we'll find another way. He reached out, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I won't let him hurt you. I promise. You don't even know me. I know enough. There was something in his voice, something that made her pulse skip. "Don't look at me like that," she whispered. "Like what?" "Like I'm more than a tool." His hand lingered on her cheek. "What if you are?" "I'm not. Adanna, this is business, that's all." But the way he was looking at her said otherwise. And when she pulled away, she felt the loss of his warmth, like a physical ache. Chapter 9. Seducing Junwoo was harder than she expected, not because he wasn't attracted to her, but because he didn't see her as a person capable of desire. She started small, wearing the dresses he liked, asking about his day, laughing at his terrible jokes. He was suspicious at first. Why the sudden interest? I've been lonely and angry, and I realized. She touched his arm lightly. "You're not the enemy. This situation is." "Profound," he said dryly. But he didn't pull away. 2 weeks of careful seduction, of light touches, meaningful looks, strategic vulnerability, and then one night, he kissed her. It was perfunctory, mechanical, but it was access. She kissed him back, let him lead her to his bedroom, and when he was distracted, when his hands were on her and his mind was elsewhere, she memorized everything. The layout, the safe behind the painting, the laptop on his desk. He finished quickly, rolled over. "That was unexpected," he said. "Good unexpected. Adequate unexpected. Romance for the ages." When he fell asleep, Adanna lay awake, skin crawling, mind racing. She just slept with a man she hated to help a criminal she barely knew. This was who she'd become. But when she thought of her sisters, of Kiyoma's school fees, and Amara's medicine, and Ada's future, she'd do worse. Chapter 10. The first intel drop was easy. Junwoo left his laptop open while showering. She photographed everything: emails, meeting notes, task force strategy documents, sent them to Jiho. His response came within minutes. "Perfect. You're a natural." Then, "Meet me tomorrow. Same place. 3 a.m. She shouldn't. This was already too dangerous. But she went anyway. Jiho was waiting in his car. "You did good," he said when she slid into the passenger seat. "I feel like I need a shower." "Did he hurt you?" "No, he just..." She trailed off. "It doesn't matter. It matters to me." She looked at him. "Why?" "Because no one should have to do what you're doing." "You're asking me to do it." "I know, and I hate myself for it." The honesty in his voice surprised her. "Who are you really?" she asked. "Not the crime boss. The person." Jiho was quiet for a moment. "My father was a prosecutor. Honest, idealistic. He went after the wrong people." He stared out the windshield. "They killed him. Made it look like suicide. I was 19. I'm sorry." "Don't be. It taught me that honor gets you killed. Power keeps you alive." He turned to her. "I built my organization from nothing. Created systems, protected people. And then Park Junwoo decided I was his ticket to the presidency." "Why you specifically?" "Because I'm everything he can pretend to fight against. Organized crime, corruption. I'm his perfect villain." He laughed bitterly. "The irony is he's worse than I ever was." Adanna believed him. "What happens when you destroy him?" "I disappear. Start over somewhere he can't reach. And me. You'll have everything you need to do the same. That's it. We just walk away. That's the plan." But the way he was looking at her, like she was the most interesting problem he'd ever tried to solve. Like he wanted to memorize her face. "Don't," she whispered. "Don't what?" "Get attached." Too late. And then he kissed her. Not like Junwoo. not mechanical or perfunctory, like he'd been drowning and she was air. Adanna should have pulled away, should have remembered this was business, but she kissed him back because she felt something other than trapped. She felt wanted. When they finally broke apart, both stared at each other like they were the only things existing. "This complicates things," he murmured. "Yes." "We should stop." "Yes." Neither of them moved. "Tomorrow," Adanna whispered. "We'll figure it out tomorrow." "Tomorrow," he agreed. But they both knew tomorrow wouldn't change anything. They were already falling. Chapter 11. The next 3 weeks were a fever dream. By day, she was Junwoo's attentive wife, sleeping with him when necessary, gathering intelligence. By night, she met Jaiho in parking garages, empty parks, hotel rooms they rented by the hour, and they talked about Lagos and Seoul, about survival and power, about fathers who failed them and futures they'd never planned. They also did more than talk. Quick kisses in his car, his hands in her hair, her body pressed against his in the darkness. They didn't sleep together, not yet, because once they did, this became real. And real things could be destroyed, but the tension was killing her. The way he looked at her, the way his voice dropped when he said her name, the way every touch lingered a second too long. She wanted him. God, she wanted him. And he knew it. It happened on a Thursday. She'd passed him information about Junwoo's meeting with prosecutors. High-value intel. Dangerous to obtain. They met at a hotel in Itaewon, room 1412. Neutral ground. But the moment the door closed, the air changed. "You're taking too many risks," Jiho said, but his voice was rough. "So are you." "Adanna, don't tell me to be careful. Don't tell me this is dangerous." She walked toward him. "I know what I'm doing." "Do you?" "Yes." She kissed him, hard, desperate, everything she'd been holding back for weeks. Jiho made a sound low in his throat and kissed her back. His hands tangled in her hair, her body pressed against his. "We shouldn't," he murmured against her lips. "I don't care. If Junwoo finds out, let him." That was all the permission he needed. He lifted her, her legs wrapped around his waist. He carried her to the bed without breaking the kiss. And then, slow, reverent, like he was memorizing every inch of her, Junwoo had used her body, taken what he wanted without thought. Jiho worshipped her, learned her, made her feel like she was the only thing in the world that mattered. When they finally came together, Adanna gasped. Not from pain, from the overwhelming rightness of it. Afterward, they lay tangled in hotel sheets, her head on his chest, his fingers tracing patterns on her spine. "This changes everything," he said quietly. "I know. I can't lose you." "You won't. Promise me." She lifted her head, looked at him. "I promise." He pulled her closer, and she felt home. Chapter 12. They were careless after that. Too many meetings, too many stolen hours, too much time pretending the world outside didn't exist. She should have been more careful. Should have noticed the warning signs. Junwoo asking where she'd been. His assistant watching her more closely. The strange car parked across from the building. But she was too distracted by Jiho, by the way he said her name, by the future they whispered about in the dark, by the dangerous, impossible thing growing between them. It ended on a Tuesday. She was meeting Jiho at their hotel when her phone buzzed. Minji. "Don't come home. Junwoo knows. Run." Adanna's blood turned to ice. She called Jiho. They know. Where are you? Itaewon, the hotel. Stay there. I'm coming. Jiho, if they catch you, I'm not leaving you. He hung up. Adanna paced the room, heart hammering, mind racing. How did Junwoo find out? Cameras? Surveillance? Minji. Oh, God. If they traced it back to Minji. The door burst open. Not Jiho. Junwoo. With two men in suits. Prosecutors. Hello, wife, Junwoo said coldly. We need to talk about your boyfriend. Chapter 13. The interrogation room was freezing. Adanna sat across from two prosecutors, while Junwoo watched from the corner. Where is Han Ji-ho? The lead prosecutor asked. I don't know. You were meeting him at the hotel. I don't know where he is. Now. Ms. Okafor, lying will only make this worse. I'm not lying. Junwoo stepped forward. You've been sleeping with a crime boss, passing him classified information, conspiring against a government task force. His voice was ice. You're looking at 20 years in a Korean prison. Foreign national, no protection, no rights. Her stomach dropped. 20 years. Unless, he continued, you cooperate. Tell us everything. Help us locate Jiho, and maybe, I can convince them to reduce your sentence to 5 years. And if I refuse, then you rot. Silence filled the room. You destroyed your own life for a criminal, Junwoo said, almost conversationally. Was it worth it? The sex? The fantasy of escape? Adanna looked at him. At this man who'd bought her, caged her, used her. Yes, she said clearly. It was worth every second. His expression darkened. You have 12 hours to reconsider. After that, we press full charges. They left her in the interrogation room, alone with her thoughts and the weight of her choices. She'd traded one cage for another, but at least this time, she'd chosen it. Chapter 14. She didn't reconsider. 12 hours passed. They charged her with conspiracy, espionage, obstruction of justice. Set bail at 500 million won, an impossible amount. She was transferred to a detention center to await trial. And through it all, she said nothing. Didn't give them Jiho's location, didn't name his associates, didn't betray him. Because some things mattered more than freedom. Like keeping the one person who'd ever seen her as human safe. 3 days later, she had a visitor. Not Junwoo, not a lawyer. Jiho. You shouldn't be here, she said when the guard left them alone in the visiting room. Where else would I be? Somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't find you. I'm not leaving Korea without you. Jiho, I have a plan. There's no plan. I'm facing 20 years. Not if we run. She stared at him. Run where? I'm in detention. There are guards, cameras. I have people inside. We can get you out tonight. And then what? We spend the rest of our lives hiding. If that's what it takes. I won't do that to you. You don't get to make that choice. Neither do you. Her voice cracked. Jiho reached across the table, took her hands. I love you, he said quietly. I know it's insane. I know we barely know each other. But I love you, Adanna. And I'm not letting them lock you away for helping me. Tears burned her eyes. I love you too? Then trust me. One more time. She looked at him. At this man who'd used her, then seen her, then loved her. At the only person who'd ever made her feel free. Okay, she whispered. One more time. He smiled. Tonight, 2 a.m., be ready. And then he was gone. Chapter 15. The escape was chaos. At 1:58 a.m., the lights went out. Emergency generators kicked in, bathing everything in red. Her cell door clicked open. A guard she didn't recognize appeared. Come with me, now. She followed him through corridors filled with shouting and confusion, through a service exit, into a parking garage where Jiho was waiting in a black SUV. "Get in!" She dove into the back seat. They peeled out as alarms shrieked behind them. "How did you?" "Later. Right now, we need to get to the safe house." "Jiho, they'll hunt us forever. They'll never stop." "I know. That's why we're leaving Korea tonight." "Tonight?" "Private plane. Leaves from a cargo airfield in 2 hours." He glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "Do you trust me?" Did she? This man had turned her life inside out, made her a criminal, gotten her arrested. But he'd also made her feel alive, made her feel loved. "Yes," she said, "I trust you." He smiled. "Then hold on. This is going to get worse before it gets better." The safe house was in Incheon, industrial area, abandoned, warehouse district. Jiho pulled her inside while 2 of his men kept watch. "We have 90 minutes before the plane leaves," he said, pulling out a bag. "New passports, new identities, cash." He handed her a Canadian passport. The photo was hers. The name wasn't. "Sarah Chen? You're Chinese-Canadian now. English teacher, visiting Korea on holiday." He showed his own passport. "David Park, investment banker." "Where are we going?" "Vietnam first, then Thailand. Then," he paused, "wherever you want." "What about your organization?" "I'm done. I've been liquidating assets for weeks, moving money, setting up my people with new leadership." He cupped her face. "I meant what I said. I'm not leaving without you." Adanna's throat tightened. "What about my sisters?" "Already handled. They're flying to Ghana tomorrow. New identities, clean documents, full scholarships to universities in Canada." He smiled softly. "They'll be safe. I promise." She couldn't speak. He'd thought of everything. "Why?" she finally managed. "Why would you give up everything for me?" "Because everything means nothing without you." He kissed her forehead. "I've spent my whole life building power, protecting myself, never letting anyone close." He pulled back to look at her. "And then you walked into that club, terrified and furious and so goddamn brave. And I realized I'd been surviving, not living." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I was a job to you. You were supposed to be. But somewhere between the parking garage meetings and the hotel rooms and watching you risk everything for your sisters." He wiped her tears with his thumbs. "You became my reason for everything." She kissed him, hard and desperate, and filled with everything she couldn't say. When they broke apart, Jiho pressed his forehead to hers. "We should go. The plane." "Wait." Adanna pulled back. "There's something I need to do first." Chapter 16. They stopped at the penthouse. Dangerous. Insane. But Adanna needed closure. Jiho's men disabled the security system while she went up to the 20th floor one last time. The keypad still had her code. Junwoo's arrogance, assuming she'd never escape to use it. She walked through the penthouse, through the rooms that had been her cage, to her bedroom, to the bookshelf. She pulled out pachinko. Opened it. Her money was gone. Of course, but she didn't need it anymore. Instead, she pulled out a pen, wrote on the inside cover. "Some of us do escape our circumstances. You just never saw me clearly enough to realize I already had. The wife you never deserved." She left the book on Junwoo's pillow and walked out of that penthouse for the last time. The cargo plane was small, uncomfortable, but it was freedom. As Seoul disappeared beneath them, Adanna pressed her face to the window. "Any regrets?" Jiho asked, lacing his fingers through hers. She thought about Lagos, about her parents selling her, about Junwoo's cage, about the version of herself who'd arrived in Korea with a suitcase full of lies. That girl was gone. In her place was someone harder, stronger, someone who'd survived. No regrets, she said, turning to him. You? Only that I didn't find you sooner. She kissed him as they crossed into international airspace, as the sun rose over the ocean, as everything they'd been fell away, and everything they could become, opened up ahead. 6 months later. The beach house in Koh Samui was small, modest compared to Junwoo's penthouse or Jiho's former empire, but it was theirs. Adanna woke to sunlight, streaming through open windows, and the sound of waves. Jiho was already up, making coffee in the kitchen. She watched him from the doorway, still dangerous looking, still devastatingly handsome, but softer now, lighter. You're staring, he said without turning around. Can you blame me? He smiled, brought her coffee. They sat on the back porch, watching the ocean. Your sisters called yesterday, Jiho said. Kyoma starts at University of Toronto next month. She wanted to thank you again. I didn't do anything. You did. We both did. He squeezed her hand. That's how this works now. We. The most beautiful word she'd ever heard. Do you miss it? She asked. The power, the empire. Sometimes, he admitted, but then I wake up next to you, and I remember why I walked away. No regrets? Not a single one. He turned to her. You? Adanna looked at the ocean, at the life they'd built from ashes and choices, and love that shouldn't have worked, but somehow did. Not one. He kissed her temple, and they sat in comfortable silence as the sun climbed higher. Two people who'd been caged by different circumstances, who'd found each other in the darkness, who'd burned down their old lives to build something new, something real. Epilogue. 3 years later. The bookstore in Chiang Mai was small but thriving. English and Thai titles, coffee bar, reading nooks. Adanna restocked shelves while Jiho worked the register. They'd changed countries twice more since Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. Finally settling here, far enough from Korea, close enough to her sisters, who visited every summer. New names, new documents, new life. They'd married quietly 6 months ago. Beach ceremony, no guests, just them and the ocean, and promises they meant. The bell above the door chimed. A woman walked in, Korean, elegant, expensive sunglasses. Adanna's blood chilled. She recognized that walk, that posture. Minji. Their eyes met. Minji pulled off her sunglasses slowly. Hello, Adanna? Jiho appeared immediately, positioning himself between them. You need to leave? Relax. I'm not here to turn you in. Minji glanced around the bookstore. Nice place. Cozy. How did you find us? Adanna asked quietly. I'm very good at my job. Was very good at my job. She smiled without warmth. I quit. 6 months after you escaped. Couldn't work for that bastard anymore. Why are you here? Minji pulled an envelope from her bag, set it on the counter. Park Junwoo is dead. The world stopped. What? Heart attack. 2 weeks ago. Very sudden. Very convenient. Minji's smile sharpened. Of course. The autopsy showed traces of a particular medication that, when combined with his blood pressure pills, can mimic a heart attack perfectly. Adanna stared at her. You? I didn't say I did anything. I'm just delivering information. She pushed the envelope forward. His will. Turns out he never divorced you. You're his widow. Everything goes to you. The penthouse, the money, all of it. I don't want it. Then donate it. Burn it. I don't care. Minji put her sunglasses back on. But you earned it, after everything he did to you. Consider it compensation. She turned to leave. Minji. She paused. Thank you. For everything. For the phone. For helping me. Minji looked back. For a moment, the ice cracked. You were the only person who was ever kind to me in that place. The only one who saw me as human. She paused. I hope you're happy now. You deserve it. And then she was gone. Adanna and Jiho stood in silence. Then Jiho started laughing. What's funny? She asked. You, me, this entire insane story. He pulled her close. We should be dead or in prison. Instead, you're a millionaire widow, and I'm selling paperbacks in Thailand. She laughed too, because he was right. It was insane. All of it. But somehow, impossibly, they'd won. That night, they sat on their balcony overlooking the city. Adanna opened the envelope, looked at the numbers. Junwoo's entire fortune. Hundreds of millions of won. What do you want to do with it? Jiho asked. She thought for a moment. Scholarships. For girls from developing countries. Girls whose parents might sell them. Who need a way out. Jiho smiled. Perfect. She leaned into him. I love you, she said. I love you too. They sat in comfortable silence. Two people who'd clawed their way out of cages, who'd found each other in the darkness and refused to let go, who'd built a life from ashes and choice and love that conquered everything. Some stories end with revenge. Some end with justice. This one ends with freedom. And two people who learn that sometimes the only way to survive is to burn everything down and start over. Together. The end. If you stayed until the end, you understand what real love looks like. Not perfect, not easy, but worth fighting for. This channel tells stories about people who refuse to break, who fight dirty, who choose love even when it costs everything. New stories drop every Thursday and Sunday. Subscribe if you're ready for more. Because some stories don't apologize for being messy. They just tell the truth.